Hello, students. Today we are going to talk about the basics of marketing. To start off, let's take a look at the definition of marketing and then as described by the American Marketing Association. So marketing is the activity, the set of the institutions and the process for creating, capturing, communicating, delivering, and exchanging offerings that have the values for customers, clients, partners, and the society at large. So I want you to look at primarily at those words that I put in the red value. So the marketing is about the value creation. The basic process of the organizations go through is to make sure that they are creating value. So there are some reasons for them to exist. So that someone wants to exchange the money for what they offer. And then also whether it's a tangible good or the services, even idea. So keep in mind and that those like kind of basic bottom of all this marketing is about the value creation. So when we speak about the 4 Ps of marketing, which is the real basic framework for discussing marketing, we talk about the product first. So the product is the creating product. Creating product means that creating value, something that people want, needs, and desire. And then it gives you them some benefits and it also solves their problem. So there's a product. And then another important piece of marketing is how we assign values. So what that is the price. So how the price going to be? It is going to be the fair market price, or isn't it the price that my organization can make money? Or that just kind of people can afford it and it is competitive when you look at the kind of whole competitive set. So it's all about the product creation with the at a fair price. And then let's move on to the next factor. The next thing that we should think about is what's the place that where do we make it available? So the place is about how we deliver the value. Convenience is immensely important today. So as we can see in the Jeff Bezos, like being the richest man in the world, Amazon made getting the goods really, really conveniently and easily. So this kind of the distribution channel, how do we make it available? That's another way that we can create value. The last piece, but not least, is about the promotion. So how do we promote our product and we're serving, and then how do we talk about it? And then oftentimes the people think that is what is the marketing is all about, like kind of advertising, social media, but it's not really. So just really what this about with these thing is that just kind of tip of the iceberg. So the tip of the iceberg is the promotion. And then what's under is the understanding the marketplace so that you can create the value and then deliver the benefits for people like in the ongoing basis. So how do we come up with the product that does that? And then how do we make sure that it's a fair price? And then also where do we make this available then? And then through what channels and then they can last, but then not least we can talk about it and then we promote it. So marketing is a process. It's a process that ongoing. We continually study that the changing environment and then figure out how we can create the value to the people that we want to sell to. It's a combination of both art and science. A lot of very scientific process are involved to optimize the product, come up with the appropriate price, and then to make sure there is available and where people want it. So we combine these scientific process, but also with art, innovation, creativity are important part of marketing. And then, that's kind of where some of the great ideas, inventions, and innovations come from. So one thing I would like to really, really stress out is the marketing is not just kind of social media, advertising, and promotion, as I highlighted in the previous slides. So first we create product, and then we understand the market, and then we just trying to think about how we can serve our goods and services. Then we create some of the value to them and then solves their everyday problems and then give them some benefits. Then we price it. And then we figure out how to get to them and then think about the best way to we can deliver our value when it comes to distribution, and then promote it. So I wonder why you are taking this course. Some of you might come from kind of different majors like finance, accounting, management, or different departments. And then you're more likely to think about just, oh my gosh, I have taken this crazy marketing class, and just everyone knows marketing people are just kind of a bunch of creative people, and then that I'm not just a kind of good fit for them, and then they're just kind of creative whack jobs. Well, that's not the necessarily case. That's what I really, really highlight. Marketing is the heartblood of the almost every business because it's about the value creation. Nothing happens in business till something sold. Finance people cannot create the ratio or keep up with just what's going on in the market today, and then what our companies are doing. So how are we going to always offer something that's anything until we have a revenue? So that's we create the value for people and then ongoing the sustainable basis from the past for the future. So how are we going to continually satisfy people better in a more compelling way? And also, so marketing is the heart of the business. And then because it's about the value creation, nothing can happen until something's sold. So when I was a marketing professional, then the accounting group and the finance group are really just were not going to be very busy until me and then my just team did our jobs and then found something that people wanted to buy. So the understanding marketing, that's how the marketing works. And then also how the organization create the true value, and then how they analyze the marketplace, and then what business dynamics and then what disciplines are in place to make this happen. This is about the marketing. And so it is going to be really, really important to make a well-rounded business person. Also, the understanding marketing is help you to market yourself better. At the end of your fourth year as a student, you're going to have a job, like most of you. And so you're going to go out to organizations, and then you're going to say, hey, I have this kind of great skill sets, but what I want to do, understand is that you're going to need to find way to make sure that you have a great skills that they want. You are going to need to market yourself. Therefore, that you are in need to understand and then know how to analyze and then what are the different needs that the companies have. So what benefits are the companies are seeking, and then what problems do the future employees need to solve, and then you're going to prepare and then position your skill set in accordance with the things that what companies need. And this is what people who sell products and services do every day. So companies try to figure out what is the market want, and then also how can they create the values to the consumers and then satisfies their consumers' needs and wants. Okay, now exchange. I mentioned that exchange is the basis of the all commerce. Just keep in mind that that's where you have something of the value. And then you can also either look at this from the buyers to the seller, and it's usually kind of money, credit, labor, and then something that the nature and its goods, ideas, and the services. So those are the basic things that we normally sell to create value. And let's take a look at the value equation and discuss the value a little bit further. So the value equation is basically perceived the benefits over cost, and then the perceived benefits minus cost. Now, just when we look at the perceived benefits, just keep in mind, I like a coffee, and I really don't necessarily like the taste of coffee that well, but I like the fact that it keeps me alert and it keeps me up. So I like the warmth of it, and I like the smell better than taste. So there are certain things that I get out of coffee, and with the value, what are we looking for? And then what do people need? And then sometimes we need a transportation. We don't always need a car, but we need a transportation. So hence, people realize this, and then that's why we have a great growth rate with the companies like kind of Uber and Lyft. So then, what is the value? What benefits do we need? We might need lunch, but also we also really need the nourishment, and or do we need the convenience? Do we need the status? What are we going to get from this purchase? I drive the Toyota RAV4, and which is the car that just get me just from back and forth to my work and home. So if I decided and I wanted to have a kind of BMW or the Mercedes, that's I'm also wanting the transportation and the status, right? So because it's different from the RAV4. To drive this kind of 5 years of the RAV4 and then drive a brand new Mercedes, you're obviously looking for kind of different benefits, and then if you're doing that beyond the transportation. So understanding that what people want out of the exchange and then what value is important to them is critical part of the looking at marketing. So sometimes you're looking at safety, and then Volvo positioning with their brand as the safety. And then another thing that you have to look at are what are the costs. We normally think about the cost as only being the price and the money that we have to sacrifice. But as we can see today, especially convenience is important. And after pandemic, many people just do the curbside pickup or delivery for their grocery. So what are the different things that we measure? There's a kind of risk, there's kind of search time for the efforts. So how much time that they just like look for this, so that Amazon gets there, and then also they are like kind of hitting the easy button to go up to the Prime, and then just the grocery delivered to your front door. So you can find almost anything in the Amazon pretty conveniently and then easily. So you can think about kind of cost as a kind of your time and effort in addition to money, and then some values kind of convenience or like kind of your grocery values. As I just mentioned here, costs are not just money. So that can be also the status, search time, the risk, like kind of safety risk, or also look at some of the different things that you might perceive as a cost. And those are the things that we put it in the value equation, and then help make to our outlet choice in our product and the service choices. So that's the basic equation of value and the perceived benefits over perceived cost. So let's give you an examples of creating and delivering value. One thing is the sensory decision. So if you're a person who likes a sports car or the many types of car, for you, probably the sounds matters. Kind of for luxury sports car consumers, when they want the sound to be a kind of primary factor in their brand choice. And as we all know, kind of Prius or the Teslas, they're kind of very quiet cars, and then they don't make kind of much noise. But surprisingly, they also there has been a kind of crazy press out that this car market actually put the artificial engine sound because they understand the value of the sounds for the car buyers. This is an important value to them. So to understand what delivers value is important. People don't want something that don't just sound loud, but just kind of the certain sound that people just want to listen. So we need to be aware that what delivers value in the different categories, and then we are trying to serve, and then what the consumers that we are trying to provide the benefits for. So likewise, let's talk about the product a little bit more. So product is all about what delivers value. We take in a lot of things every day through our eyes, and then even though the perfume is something that we can smell, the research shows that 40% of the decisions about the perfume are based on the bottle design. As you look at these photos, each company make the kind of unique design perfume bottles. So understand your product category and what delivers value, what kind of values are people looking for is important. So here, this is the one, the visual. Our visuals visuals and designs are very, very important. We take in the kind of more visual messaging every day than anything else that we take. Isn't it surprising? Even with the perfume purchasing, visual design is very critical for the purchase choice. So the visual imagery is a really important part of the product design of choice, and then the judgment that we make on other sensory design. And now let's talk about the place a little bit more. It represents all the activities necessary to get the product to the right consumer when the consumers want it. I'm going to talk about how channel has evolved the entertainment space. So because, after the pandemic, people's behaviors of the consuming entertaining contents has changed. So when you're young, probably when you just or kind of very, very little kids, your parents used to put you in the minivan on the Friday, and then you would go to the Blockbuster, and then you can have some few videos. So you might have some of those memories. So they'll just keep you busy the whole weekend. Your parents were happy, and then they would go off doing what they're going to do, and then you just watch the videos. And I was also that type of the kid at the moment. So you watch Disney movie just over and over, and then right. So because you can do that because like you could access all this entertainment through with this mechanism, and then which was kind of retail outlets that you can just lease the property. So so then now like you have the kind of certain basic benefits that basically allow you to get the certain level of the content here. And then you list for a kind of short period of time, and then it was stuff that you couldn't otherwise just access or own it in your home without the Blockbuster. That's what kind of the values what the Blockbuster delivers. And then after that, just the time change, and then all of a sudden the Netflix came to this game. And that time the Netflix offered us kind of different type of value. They just let us get in. So they just let us not leave our home, or just and then just like what we wanted to do in the online. So initially when Netflix came out, they sent us the DVDs in the mail. So they offered a kind of broader assortment, more choices than the Blockbuster. And then the convenience of the staying at home, but we didn't get the kind of quiet, immediate gratification. Just like think about it, when we go to the kind of Blockbuster store, and then we can just pick what we want, and just we have a kind of more immediate gratification. But and so we got quicker, but Netflix, although we do not get that quicker, it does not have any late fees. Like think about it, like when you just have a Blockbuster video, and then just some week your parents, and then you are very busy, and then you just miss the kind of return date, then that you might have a kind of the late fee, and it might become the problematic. So that happens. But the Netflix has a kind of the different delivery system, and then basically this delivery system channel have how they create a different types of value. And then the Netflix realized that everything's going online, and then everything will become streaming. So they quickly went to having a streaming services, and then they were one of the first streaming services that have a lot of content. Now we have a lot of people in that field, and then the Walt Disney Plus is this. Now they also enter this like streaming field, and then Hulu is a streaming service, and then we have a number of different streaming services out there. They offer us the immediate access, and then we pay subscription fee, but the assortment has a certain limitations based on what they have in the certain time period. So we also, during that time period, we have also Redbox, and then the Redbox is still out there. But what Redbox gives you compared to the Blockbuster or compared to Netflix is pretty cheap one-time price. So you don't have to just like kind of sign up for $150 a year, and then you can just maybe get a DVD for $1. So their kind of assortment is small, but they're more conveniently located for kind of pickup and delivery. And then they usually get stuff a little bit before, maybe it goes to kind of streaming after the theaters. So they have their niche of the value that they can create. But as you look at here is a particular area, the real difference in the progression that has happened in the way that we deliver or that make things convenient. The product itself isn't that does not have kind of great differences, but we're, just kind of, you can still get a Disney movie at the theater here or there or whatever. But we see a lot of changes in the entertainment landscape over the last 20 or the 30 years with the way that we allow that people to access the value that they want. And this value is created through the convenience and the access. So, and we make the decisions a lot of with entertainment that we buy now. And so this packages that we put in our home. So the entertainment industry has been a great deal of the upheaval and change in the way that the way we deliver or to make things are available. So we make the choices how we gonna have the Netflix and then how are we going to the access content. So it's not always the product, sometimes it is delivery. And over time, one of the things that you want to have you in your delivery of the value is the kind of competitive advantage that's kind of somewhat sustainable. So that's why we see almost everybody in the entertainment business right now trying to create their own copyright content. Just kind of HBO, Showtime, kind of that they just did it kind of first with a kind of small employer. Then the Netflix got into content creation, and then now everybody is just creating the content. Disney already had done it before, but they also try to have the original content, not sharing with the Netflix or other channels. So there's a lot of things going on in the particular space and about how we deliver the value. And I give you the coffee examples, and then we are going to use the coffee example several times throughout the semester and lecture. So I want you to watch this video. I just share this link in the module. So please watch this video and then understanding how also even coffee can create different values to the different types of customers. So you need to understand with the products and the services I mentioned. So if you make a kind of just remind that if you make a perfume, that you need to make sure that the bottle design and then their visual design scenario is important. If you're making a sports car, you need to make sure the sound is important. So the value can be created and then delivered in a number of the different ways. We have got to understand what the people's need scenario and also how do they utilize their product. How do they buy it and how they make that choice? How do they interact with it? And even to the point that how they dispose something, it's just like all about kind of truly about understanding the value creation. And then now the evolution of the marketing. So that shows how the history of the marketing has changed over the time. I will actually read this slide and then watch the video that how first changes their strategies throughout the history. So let's talk about more details. In the production-oriented era, the manufacturers just produce the products and then they barely think about how they can satisfy the consumer's needs. So the retail stores just consider as the kind of the outlet that people just buy something when they just want it. After that, in the sales-oriented era, now companies start to do the mass production and the overproduction. So they start to think about what the consumers really want and then what they can buy. And now that after that, the companies try to resolve their overproduction, they just start to becoming more the sales oriented and then also do the kind of personal selling and advertisement. And then after that, we move on to the marketing oriented era. Finally, it's become more the consumer centric and information driven. So the consumer were able to make the purchasing decisions based on the quality, convenience, and price. So the companies and the retail stores that began to focus on what consumers wanted and then needed in advance. And finally, now we are living the value-oriented era. So value reflects the relationships with the benefits and costs as we see in the value equation, and then also what you get for and then what you give. So the consumers want the products and the services to meet their very specific needs and wants, and then they are offered the price with a kind of good value. Other things that we see happening right now with the data and technology is that we connect with our consumers, and the fact that we all have cell phones and then download the apps. So the connectivity is another way that we can deliver value and then have relationships with the people that we want to buy from. So the technology and the connectivity can give advantage and then can aid the satisfying the consumers' wants and also needs better. And also the rewarding them and then becoming more the automatic with the purchase. With the data and the digital communications, we all seeing that more connected relationships with the consumers and with the organizations and then and also consumers. So that's something that marketers are actively engaging in, trying to make sure that they're the choice and then the basic choice, or just maybe go to even the automatic choice and the different bills that they sell. So this is all for chapter 1. Thank you very much, and let's see in the chapter 2. Thank you.